You know what time it is. It's time for another Covrprice top 10 list. Let's see if anything bumped Ultimate Spider-Man off the list. Not really. Up next on this video from Bronzeville Comics. Hey there, panelologists. This is Jim from Bronzeville Comics coming to you with another video. Please like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate that. Follow us on Instagram at Bronzeville_Comics, on Whatnot at Bronzeville_Comics, where we do sales Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you've not yet signed on to Whatnot, you can use the link in the description of this video and get $10 off your first purchase, regardless of who it is with. Also in the description of this video is a link to my eBay store as well as my email. Now that we're over with that, let's jump into the Covrprice top 10 list for this week. And a lot of familiar faces, a couple of new books. And it seems as though we're all over Herbie the Robot. Coming in at number 10 is this variant edition of Captain Marvel number 5, with all these different guises that Carol Danvers has used over the years. It's a Russell Dauterman 1 in 25 variant, and it's the first appearance of The Undone. This book came out last week. It's a near mint copy. It was a 1 in 25, but a near mint copy going for $137. Whoa. Wow. This is, yeah, I wasn't really aware of this book. If we take a look at the reasoning here, let's go to the list. Russell Dauterman, 1 in 25. Marvel has been hyping The Undone, a Galactus-level threat for months. Finally, The Undone makes its debut, which didn't disappoint. Dauterman rang in the occasion with this vibrant 1 in 25 variant featuring iterations of Captain Marvel, both past and present. I'm not sure. I mean, this isn't the greatest cover I've ever seen. I guess if you're a Captain Marvel fan, it's pretty cool. But here's the thing. Let's take a look. Are people excited about The Undone? Well, let's take a look at the regular cover, the cover A. It's the first appearance of The Undone, and yeah, it goes for Covrprice. So that's kind of an interesting entry at number 9 on the list. So let's go to our next entry, which is The Sentry. Number 1 from 2000. The first appearance of The Sentry, Robert Reynolds. Near mints, 89. CGC, this is the most common. Yeah, $350 for a 9.8. High grade copies, about $100. Now, remember, there are some variants in this. There's a Dynamic Forces, which is very expensive. A Rosen homage, a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. Those are very expensive books. As is the cover A here. And I'm not sure. I think maybe people are thinking that Henry Cavill will take on the mantle of Sentry after Stephen Yeun turned it down. Love Stephen Yeun. His career is really going well, so he doesn't need to be the Sentry. Let's see what Covrprice. Poor Stephen Yeun. Robert Kirkman stated he'd be playing the titular character of Sentry in the upcoming Thunderbolts movie. Well, that wouldn't be the titular character of this comic. That was shot down when Yeun leaving the project. The cloud hung over the film for months until recently. Now that filming has begun, secrecy surrounding the Sentry has hit new heights. We don't know if he will be in the film. Rumor that Sentry not only appears in the film but will be the main villain is pushing this book into the aftermarket. Sentry is an interesting character, could be a star in the MCU. Fans are grabbing up his first appearance. Before any more bad news, rumors propel it even higher. So let's take a look at the performance of this book over time in a 9.8. It was always, I mean, if we're going back to 2017, a $250 book and a 9.8, always been expensive. Got a boost during the comic boom up to the $500 range, and its descent has been very slow compared to other books. We don't see that huge spike during the boom. And books, somebody jumped on $350, where the most recent auction earlier in the month was $200. There have been a couple of $340 sale here. I'd say it's probably a $250 book in a 9.8. Maybe people are anticipating casting news. Once we get casting news, I could see this book spiking. But interesting that it made it onto the list. Let's go to number 8. And number 8 is a return entry, New X-Men 114, the first appearance of Cassandra Nova. High grade copies, wow, going up upwards of $60, a 9.8 in. I just put one in a pre-screen, up to $160. I need that pre-screen back ASAP, I guess. Let's take a look. So this is the book last week, and let me refresh the page. So last week, 545 universals, 322 9/8. If we refresh a few more, 556, 329. Let's take a look at the price. This book over time has its ups and downs, and really its recent ups. A big jump in August, I guess, when there was rumor that the character was going to be in Deadpool 3, and then it plummeted back down to 87, and now it's spiking back up to over $100, close to 150. I'd say it's in the 125, 150 range, the value of the book. You're getting more at fixed price than you are at auctions. So there are a lot of these out there. I would say if you want somebody's asking 175, and here's an auction, you might want to, if you're interested in this book, you might want to take a look at that. Let's just take a quick look. Just to see when it ends. Ends in 4 days and 16 hours, Sunday at 6:07 p.m. So they're not stupid. They're having it finish up on Sunday evening. Okay, I'm pretty sure they're going to just talk about the Deadpool 3 rumors. Rumored villain for Deadpool 3. Fans have dissected every inch of the trailer and planned it. Cassandra Nova is the culprit behind the madness. So that remains to be verified, remains to be seen. In the meantime, this book is scorching hot. I wonder where it'll be a year from now after the movie has come and gone. Just kind of curious about that. Let's move to Ultimate Universe number 1. Ultimate is hot, hot, hot. First cameo appearance of Maystorm, $30, $135 at a 9.8. If we look at this is this from last week? 18 Universal, 12 9.8s. It's a pretty low percentage, only 2/3 for a very modern book. And the sales of a 9.8 aren't many of them, right? We're talking about jumping from case cost in January up to $125, $135. And with only 18 on the census, not a lot of people have sent this book in. Still opportunity to submit this book. And again, be careful. This book came out, in November. Now that it's hitting the list, there are going to be more copies headed to CGC and getting graded. Okay, let's move to the next book on our list, and it is Ultimate Spider-Man number 1, cover A. Issue number 2 has already come out. 9.8's up over $200. Raw copies now up to $80. Man, the demand for this book has been bananas. Now, I haven't refreshed this since last week. See, the most recent sale is $220. $239 Universal, $217 9/8. Let's refresh. 356. So a jump in the number of 9/8s available, which is absolutely expected. And the book, again, selling quite frequently in a 9.8, right? We've already had 44 sales of this book in a 9.8. I don't think this was a lightly printed book. I think there are a lot of folks who were able to scoop up copies and are sending them into CGC. So let's move right ahead to Ultimate Black Panther number 1. I'm not going to really worry about that. It's a little early to get into the 9/8s. They're probably pre-sales, raw copies in the $30 range. Not as hot as Spider-Man, but this is a book that came out 3 weeks ago. And let's just kind of go to what we have here. So we have Ultimate. The book came out last year with the Ultimate Universe. And then we have the Ultimate Spider-Man, the Ultimate Black Panther. Despite being the hottest thing since sliced bread, this book is cooling. It debuts the new Ultimate Black Panther, character fans immediately wanted a piece of after getting a taste of Ultimate Spider-Man, paired with rumors that thousands of copies have been lost. We're not sure that that's true, and it's kind of settled down. So let's keep on moving. And Secret Wars number 5, it was seen in the Deadpool 3 trailer, and I'm really interested to see how 9.8s for upwards of $300. This is bananas. $30 book, raw. Let's see. So as of last week, there were 57 on the census. 45.98s. 57 and 45.98s, right? I haven't updated it since, yes. Let's take a look. 57 and 45 goes to, well, it's the same. No update in the census. That's interesting. Because, well, there is one sale. They had it listed for $325 and a best offer was accepted for less than that. So still, I mean, a copy that's in dollar bins, really. So, you know, I don't know what its appearance in the trailer means, portends long term, but we'll see, you know, how it plays out. I mean, I like this run. Issue number 2 is a good book. Again, like to see this book in a year. Like to, you know, when Very Gary does one of those 1 year later videos, or 2 years later, 3 years later. Let's move to number 3 on the list. Edge of Spider-Verse number 1. The first appearance of Weapon 8. This is a surprise variant. This book near mint in the mid 40s. The community does love a surprise. While the fan base wanted to check out the all-new Weapon 8, this cover was hard to resist. A surprise variant, local comic shops received between 1 and 3 copies for collectors to acquire. The fact that it's outselling the regular cover is incredible, as it's the only variant for issue number 1 to hit the list. That classic Spidey look is always a plus. So, yeah, I think, you know, this kind of surprise variant gets FOMO going. Let's go to number 2 on the list. And it is cover A of Edge of Spider-Verse, number 1. I mean, selling for about $15. This is like the hot book of the week. Pretty cool cover. This book and cover features the first appearance of Weapon 8, an alternate reality version of Spider-Man. Everything about the cover, from the color scheme to the goggles to even Weapon 8, screams X-Men. Yeah, sure. Specifically, the 90s version returning soon. It's one way to appeal collectors. And then let's go to number 1 on the list. Not a big surprise. Ultimate Spider-Man number 2, which came out last week. First full in-story appearance of Earth 6160 Spider-Man and Shocker. It was a fun read, a different take. Going for about double cover price. I'm not going to worry about the 9/8. Those are pre-sales. And the Marco Cicchetto cover A. The new Ultimate Universe has been incredible. The love for the new Ultimate Universe has been incredible. Hard to match issue number 1. Issue number 2 is trying its damnedest. Bears the distinction of being the first full in-story appearance of our new Spider-Man and the Shocker. An interesting story is playing out within the book, causing collectors to grab it in droves. We'll be keeping a close eye on this run. I'd say put it on your pull list. It's not a bad read. It's a $5 book. You know, you can, you know, if you put on your pull list, you get it for cover price. Let's take a look at the runners up. I think those are somewhat interesting. Just a quick look. So we go to number 11, Fantastic Four 209, first appearance of Herbie, who we're going, you know, we saw in the poster art for Fantastic Four, the movie. Dazzler number 1, Taylor Swift. We all know that. Avengers Twilight number 1, first appearance of James Stark. Helverine's getting his own book, his first appearance in Wolverine 36 here. Variant cover, I'm sorry, the second print of Ultimate Spider-Man number 1. Is it 16, 15, 16, Spawn number 1, 17, a variant of Ultimate Spider-Man number 2 by Daikuran. Spider-Man 2099 coming in at number 18. Huh. And then what? X-Men 25. We are supposed to the future appearance in the MCU. We know a certain adamantium Claude Willie mutant is set to return. We also saw the new X-Men 97 trailer debut featuring Magneto's return as the school's head. The alien's here to recreate the infamous scene of Magneto ripping out the adamantium from Wolverine's skull. While it seems tad bit more violent than we would have seen in the MCU, Deadpool 3 would test the waters for the demand with an R-rated MCU market. Its success could lead to darker, more adult-oriented storylines that would welcome a brutal scene like this one. I got this for 50 cents. A minty copy that I sent off. So That's good. And then X-Men Adventures #1. I haven't seen a spike in this in terms of values. I mean, a high sale of 172 and a 9.8, that is down from where it was like a year ago. So I guess there are plenty of copies of this out there. But that's a pretty cool book. First appearance of Morph. I like the Steve Lightley cover there. So that does it for the Covrprice top 10. What do you think of those books? Have you picked up the Ultimate Spider-Man run or the Ultimate Black Panther run? And what do you think of them? I think there's still time to get the second prints if you just want to read the story. And I would recommend. I've read the first 2 issues of Ultimate Spider-Man #1, and it is a fun read. No doubt about it. So, is this the FOMO book of the week, or is this going to have staying power? Is Cassandra Nova going to propel New X-Men 114 into the stratosphere? Who knows? But it is kind of fun to just take a look at these lists and see what books you have and, what the hot books are. The problem is right now, these are the hot books. It's not the time to buy these books. Like that Fantastic Four 209. If you're interested in Herbie the Robot, wait a few months, come back down to earth, right? Unless you see it for a deal. And then maybe you can get it. And I always looked at these lists as when you find these books at a deal, right? When, Secret Wars 5 is in a dollar bin and you grab it. But anyway, let me know what you think of the list. I'd like to thank you so much for stopping by. You're going to take a look at a couple of my other videos here. And this is Jim saying until next time, enjoy your comics.